All right, the recording started. We're doing a Hangout, and we've had some technical glitches that are numerous and complicated to explain, but I'm inviting my friends in here. We'll see if this works. So I guess I have to kill a moment, I think. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I've invited my caller circle, and they'll be coming in just a moment. It appears that they've reverted to the previous interface, so we'll have to see what happens. But I've been checking out the new Google Plus, and it's amazing. There are some glitches, obviously, some issues, but I like it. Everyone's making fun of the white space. And Anthony's joining me now. All right. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, I didn't think I'd be the first one in.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. They've reverted back. I'll wait for Alan to get going here. Alan, it's strange. Billy said that he got the old interface.
Yeah.
And I did too. When I went back, in the past it used to say you'd start a Hangout, and then at the bottom it would say you've been invited to broadcast and record your Hangouts. And with the new interface, you start a Hangout, and there was a checkbox to check if you wanted to broadcast it publicly. So I went back to Chrome, exactly what he did, because he started with Chrome and went to Firefox. And then when he went back to Chrome, it was the old interface. So they've reverted back, I guess. So now I'm broadcasting, and I have no idea if this is actually... I guess I'll check now and see if... Okay, they've got the new one at the top of Hangouts to watch. Let's see if it works. Yep, it works. All right,
What are you checking on?
I went to Google plus.google.com/hangouts.
And I now see 3 Hangouts to watch.
Yeah, so we're good now.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see it too. Yeah, I just see it pop up.
Now I'm going to check my YouTube player. See if that's working, because then we can, if that is working, you'll find that most of the comments are there.
Hi folks, I'm Dan McDermott.
But I don't know how to, how do you get to, they may have shut that off. That may have been the issue, and they've shut that off. Yeah, all the previous ones were recorded.
Really?
Yeah, I see, if you look at my YouTube channel, I see...
Uh-oh. We said some things in some of those that...
I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different videos, so every single one of them was recorded.
Yeah.
We said some things that...
I deleted most of mine, except for I just left one. Because I was just kind of messing around.
So how do I get to... Okay, let me get that. It's automatically going to a full screen size. But
That's
there's no...
strange.
What's going to full screen size?
If I go to the Google plus.google.com/hangouts.
Yeah.
And then I click on watch.
Oh yeah, it is going full screen.
It goes to full screen, and there's no watch on YouTube version or option.
Oh really?
Actually, that's not a real full screen, because you can still click the full screen option for it.
Let me see if, yeah, it looks like they've taken off the live YouTube thing. It looks like it's not actually, let me see if it's here. Yeah,
I mean-
they've removed the integration with YouTube Live. Because it doesn't show up on my channel, and there's no YouTube button on the bottom right like there was on the player on my profile.
There's something odd about it. Oh, excuse me.
You
Oh,
tired or something?
Okay, I'm getting messages from Google or people. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm staying up too late developing this app.
Okay, from Jeremy. Hey guys, Chichu. Oh, well, it's limited. Let me look
It's
at
not
it.
working, you're right. Huh.
At my post?
Yep. Okay. Here's the deal. They've moved us back to the old system. Yeah, they've moved it. Okay, they've confirmed. One of the Hangout team guys told me in a limited post. I won't read it verbatim. I'll just say that they just confirmed what I said, that we're on the old system.
Oh, okay.
So the only negative impact is that it's not integrated with YouTube. It's not on your live channel.
So we lost all the features we got yesterday.
They're working on it. They're just, I mean, they'll probably turn it back on for their internal team as they work, try to figure out the bugs. But in the meantime, at least we can do a Hangout on Air, right?
Yeah. Did you hear the bug about having 30 people in a Hangout?
I've seen 40 in multiple ones.
That's right. It was up to 40. They had a Hangout today that had 40 people in it. And finally, Cheat shut it down.
I wonder how well that's scaled.
I tried getting into it, but it kept crashing. But they had 40 people in that Hangout.
I think they might have reverted back because they found a bug which is like very critical or something, and due to that 40 people hangout, they probably want to take a second look at what is the bug or what is the vulnerability, the way you call it. So
Yeah.
that's what I think it is. That's what Chichu was trying to figure out early today.
Yeah.
They probably discovered something which slipped past QA, UAT, whatever. That's my guess.
So what was the features in the new one?
Well, the new features they're added to this Hangout
right?
was the YouTube integration and the
Big
so
time.
you can that was the two features they added.
That is a big feature.
Oh, it's huge. It's massive. It's a big deal.
It is the next step of the continuous collaboration with YouTube. I mean, Dan probably is disappointed. I mean, you may probably want to see by Friday they're going to revert back to the new one or not.
I'm not at all disappointed. I mean, if if I'm used to hamburgers and someone gives me steak for a couple of days and then says like, well, I can't do it the next day, but I'll be back again Thursday. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm going to, I'm cool. This is, I mean, it's, I'm totally cool with it. Yeah. They're going to fix it. I mean, it really, this is showing that it is indeed a beta product, right? Despite the Muppets and everything, it is in fact a beta product, and there'll be weird days as they load out stuff. But where they're going is fantastic.
Come on, Gmail was a beta product for 5 years.
There's beta and there's beta.
Okay.
This is beta.
It's in between Alan's app and Gmail.
George came back. Thought George stopped out.
I
George
tell
and
you,
Alan.
I don't know why everything's so slow. It's taken me almost 45 seconds for the page to load.
That's not true. For me, it's normal. It's nothing different.
Uh-oh, my connection just froze. It says, the server connection has been lost. Some functionality may be unavailable.
Now
Yeah, we still see you.
that's a problem, yeah.
George Cozy, I think,
It's very surreal.
depending on what is cup, some functionality may be unavailable.
Minty.
It has a calming effect on him.
Yeah, I
Well,
need
for
that.
anyone watching, we're chatting about on kind of a technical level about some of the things in the new Google Plus, and the Hangouts have just, at least, I don't know if it's for regular Hangouts, but for Hangout On Air, they've reverted back one generation because they've realized that there are some issues, and nobody could go live, and so some shows are being canceled, and so I just got a message to about 7 of us from Google that said that they reverted back, which it was clear to us that that had occurred. But it's cool because now we can talk to you folks who are watching. It's just not on YouTube, but that's totally cool. And this is still exciting, and we got it's almost like we got a little preview test of it. And so this is cool. Jonathan, you haven't weighed in yet, at least with me and the folks here, that, as far as I know. What are your initial thoughts? On this whole
on the whole entire new layout and everything. Is finally Google Plus has finally got their own identity.
What?
Don't you think that the profile is like a total rip-off of Facebook's timeline profile? At least that one picture. I guess that's the only thing.
It's not a total rip-off, but it's a partial rip-off.
The top 3 inches are a total rip-off of Facebook.
Instead of calling it a rip-off, I want to say inspired by.
Inspired by, correct. I coined that earlier today. That's copyrighted, trademark. How do you like it, though? I mean, I'm digging it. There's a lot of complaints. Like Mohammed Mansour freaked out. I invited him to the Hangout, but he's maybe I don't know. He's probably deleted Google Plus from his history and everything for a couple of days while he steams. But I don't know. I mean, I'm liking it.
Do you think Google is going to give a red carpet welcome to Mohammed again? Or?
I think they understand where he's coming from because they're all engineers. And, he's entitled to get pissed off once in a while. And also, I mean, he's got immediately, everything he put out there, over 2 million people's, his apps, stopped working. Bam, right? With no warning. But then that's what they said would happen, but still, They tell
now, did he say...
Go ahead.
Did he say that he is actually leaving, or did he just rant? Is he gonna?
He ran and said he was leaving.
He said he's leaving. Yep.
I love Mohammed. I hope he joins us. But he's great. He's a very talented guy, and he's pissed off, and he has, I can understand it. But hopefully he will calm down and come back to innovating because he's.
You're talking about because of
clearly the top independent developer for Google Plus, right?
Right.
You're talking about because of the My Hangouts thing?
No.
He has scores of apps that have all died.
Well, why doesn't Google work with these developers to make sure that doesn't happen when they roll out the new stuff? I'm not quite...
Because they're not at that stage yet.
The answer in this case is the apps that he makes are, are using an unauthorized API. Everything he was doing, he knew could change at any time, and Google knew could change at any time, and Google warned him could change at any time. So, on one hand, he took a chance, but on the other hand, it would have been nice if Google could at least tell him, look, there's a breaking change coming, and we can't show you the new one, but, be warned that something's going to happen. At the very least, they could have done that.
Well, one of the things that I noticed that in these new Hangouts, it kind of like they're using the stuff from both of the My Hangouts and the Hangout Canopy. They seem to have taken both of those away from those two people.
Well, they said that one of the things they like about these extensions and so forth is that it helps them get a better understanding on what people need, what they're going to use, that sort of thing. So in one sense, they warned Robert Pitt and all of those guys. Yeah, look, you're filling a need right now, but someday we're going to create this similar functionality.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, I mean, the notion of Hangouts being sort of the widely regarded killer app, it would be foolish of them not to at some point incorporate the ability to find Hangouts that are live in the same way that the What's Hot list shows you viral posts and the What's Trending. You want to direct people to the best content so they spend more time on your site, right?
And
So
then
that makes sense, and it was inevitable.
and then what?
Yeah, but what we were having to do is we were having to go to a Manicam and Webcam Max to put in overlays on us, and they said, "Oh, people want overlays," and so they started doing that.
And then to what Alan said, we know, everybody knows that Google never pre-announces anything. So I would say that it's more or less, I don't know, it's counterintuitive to believe that Google is going to reach out to the developer community, even if they're using unofficial APIs or whatever, that we are going to change it, or we're going to release a set of new, whatever they released today, and then say, oh, everything broke. So it is foolish to even imagine that they're gonna give you a heads-up warning. No, I don't think that's gonna happen.
A couple of comments from viewers. From John Jensen. Hey, Chrome is really slow for me since the update. And then John, one comment. The more extensions you disable, the faster it goes. And if there are any Google Plus inspired extensions, correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, but that could cause a delay in booting if there's some kind of glitch. Even if it just doesn't work, it may try a few times as it's trying to boot up Chrome.
I'm not even sure if it's so much that it would try a few times, but as it's trying to render the page, it's going to be doing a lot more work and going nowhere. And the new page apparently is a much more complex page. So it's doing a lot more work on an even more complex page, and it's not finding anything. So. But
even aside from that, Alan, when I booted up Google Plus, at the advice of one of the Googlers, that I shared the post from Mary Thomas to disable any Google Chrome extensions. I did know that Google Plus loaded way faster, and Ricard Gronholm, whose name I massacre every time, I'm embarrassed to say, he said, I've experienced problems with the comment stream for a couple of weeks. After I click on the play button to watch a Hangout on the air, I no longer see any new comments, so I have to have two tabs open, one for the live video and one for the comments. Well, one thing, Ricard, it almost seems like, and I'm just coming to, let me finish this thought. We've all been griping about about an integrated comment stream. It almost seems like they're trying to route people to the YouTube player, or to actually to go to YouTube, but maybe this is crazy, because the comments there are live. And maybe as these two become one, they will become one, and that the live YouTube comments will be integrated with Google Plus on the player, because it seems like now that they've taken the final recorded version and they're inserting that in all the posts where the recorded version was posted or shared, that I'm wondering if they're also going to integrate comments, because all of us have said that's I'm sure every Hangout on Air person, or every person who hacked it through Justin the way I did initially, and the way Jeff does, we've all said that we want an integrated comment stream where people can all be on the same page, and so that would be fantastic if they did that. And then if all the comments from Google Plus and YouTube were together put as comments under the video when it was posted, that would be amazing.
Dan, there are so many different ways they can make YouTube work with Google Plus seamlessly. So many different ways. Comments is just one. Right now, YouTube more or less still behaves like an external application, right? They added I don't even see it anymore. You guys see that? They had a YouTube playlist thingy, which was like a protruding thing on the right side where you can go and search something and it'll show you a playlist or something. Is it available anymore?
I'm not sure.
That seems so pointless to me.
Yeah, so this is probably, whatever they've reverted right now, is probably the first step of complete YouTube integration. There are some who would argue that Google should have built a social layer starting with YouTube, because I don't know.
People have advocated that.
What's that?
And a lot of people have advocated that.
Mm-hmm.
Archer, man, help me, Alan. Is it Recra? Archer? I apologize, Archer. Archer says he has a stream pause. He has stream pause extensions installed in Firefox and Chrome by different developers, and both seem to be among the few that are unaffected by the changes and working well. So good for them. They're obviously not doing screen grabs. That's for sure.
I just had Firefox crash on me, so I switched back to Internet Explorer.
Oh, but
Always a rebel in every hangout. So anybody want to weigh in on anything?
Did you guys see the new notifications page? Not the drop down, but the actual big notifications page.
No, I haven't even looked at that. How's it look?
It has changed. It has changed in such a way that where you see the circles on the top, now they say all notification circle ads more. So I mean the fundamental design of I think all the icons on the left and the top, they are applying. This is something they should have done, in my opinion, to every page. For example, Hangouts. If you go to Hangouts, they don't have anything on the top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you go to notifications, they have. So this is if this is a standard UI, they should apply it to all the pages. That's what I'm trying to say.
John Jensen points out, he says the YouTube slider is gone, but you can now get YouTube in the post box.
You always could get YouTube in the post box, couldn't you?
I don't know.
And that's not really relevant. So, I mean, I guess it is in a way, but I mean,
could you get YouTube, or you could just post a video from your hard drive?
Well, no. It means you can post a YouTube video, but what the YouTube slider tab was essentially YouTube controls in G+. You didn't have to leave Google Plus to go to YouTube.
That's exactly what I was saying. You just type in, let's say, Van Halen, and you get a list of Van Halen songs. It's like a playlist. You can just play it and leave it like that. I actually asked Jonathan Zunga, why is it like that? Why is the player actually coming out as a pop-up? It's not inside. It doesn't show the list inside. You run it and it pops up a separate page. So I mean, if that was their idea of originally integrating YouTube with Google Plus, then that was poor.
Yeah.
Archer's asking what version of Firefox. He said 11 is working wonderfully better than Chrome.
Oh. I have no problem.
I have the latest version of Firefox, and it's crashing.
Ham, I want to know what are you using to do that?
Yeah, I like the previous one better.
It's my Dell integrated webcam software.
Okay.
Oh. Definitely a way to fill the white space. So Billy, yours went off. Yeah, you got the message, right, from Google saying that they had reverted back. So we don't have the YouTube integration, the YouTube Live integration, but we have functioning, on air while they, I guess,
was it where Trey Ratcliffe did it?
Say again?
Wasn't Trey Ratcliffe testing
I think the
on
team's going to
air?
be awake all night.
Yeah, it was Trey. Well, did you get the message? It was to 7 of us. You, me, Trey, who else?
So was Trey's not working? Because it does show a public player for the Hangout that he just had.
Oh, now it's working, yes. But earlier we were all having, it was Trey, Erica Joy.
So Trey was having problems earlier?
Everybody was. It was down. Because for a while, the only on-air Hangout showing up that was being publicly broadcast was mine, and it didn't work. And then yours came up, and it didn't work. And then we saw a message saying our show's canceled because the on-air's not working. And then Chi brought his whole team in, and then they reverted it back to the older version, which we see now. And the big drawback is it's not showing up as a live stream on YouTube. But they'll fix it. I mean, I'm cool with it. We got to play with it for a few hours.
Does it work in the, like, if you go to Hangouts and then you want to watch it, will this Hangout be able to watch it, or is it working there?
Yeah, the players are working. It's just not working on YouTube live.
Okay.
Because what they did was anybody.
So did they revert it back to everyone, or just the people that they must mention? Because later Thomas Hawk is going to be having his show, and he usually has a fairly good show on Wednesdays and that type of thing, and I'm just wondering if it's going to work for him.
I'm not sure. I see Jason Salas has one. Let me see if his is working.
I could start up
Is it
mine, see
working?
if it works.
Yeah, I think they've moved everybody. I think they've moved all the on-air people. They've moved them. I don't know if they've moved regular Hangouts because I don't know if there was an error with the regular Hangouts. I don't think so because we could hang out like normal.
Well, there was obviously some kind
Yeah.
of problem. We got the 40 people hanging out.
You just couldn't. I'm guessing they turned that on. How could that happen by random? I'm thinking he turned it on to test it and push it to the limits to see for some idea. I mean, for some test that we have no idea what it is.
There's no way to know who actually started the Hangout, so
Moritz was posting about it, so he might have been him. He did a lot of posts about that.
Yeah, I thought it was his, but it might have just been that I saw his first.
to George's question, after we got the Hangouts page today, how useful are extensions like Hangout Canopy? Well, it depends again. This is the question Alan and Dan were talking about. The Hangouts we see right now, say 6 of them live, does it mean that there is only 6 Hangouts which is live happening right now? Or is it just because all of us know a bunch of people who are in everybody's circle, blah, 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 and you're seeing the same? Is it the same?
I don't know. I see 8 Hangouts to join. I don't recognize any of them. So I'm assuming the Hangouts to join are...
But here's
more,
my thing. Most of them you see are from continental United States or somewhere in the West, right? Does it mean that, I think it's regional. You're probably seeing mostly stuff which is regional. But are you saying that people in the Far East are not using Hangouts live or on air? And it's not.
I don't know. I see one from a Yusuf KH and a name that I can't pronounce because I don't speak the language.
I think it's
I don't
believe like On Air is available in each country yet because it wasn't available in Canada and the UK until about the 1st of March.
Wow, the interface is different. Yeah.
Hermine, you see 29 live or you see 29 total?
You mean in Hangout Canopy?
Where are you saying Hangout Canopy or are you on like Google Plus / Hangouts? You're muted.
The Hangout Canopy, it's up to 30, and then on the Google one, I have to count.
Close to 15, 20. Yeah, there's 15, 20.
There's like 25 easily.
Oh, no, you keep scrolling, there's a lot more.
I know, and that's why I don't like the scroll. I don't like that at all, because my...
When you say you see 25 or whatever, that's just on the page itself? You're not clicking on View More?
No, I click on More.
There's a lot more out there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I think that this new format has encouraged people to, because they can now see where it is to go, and...
Oh, wait a sec. You can actually see the date. Starting from April 9th, maybe, today's what, 10th?
No.
No.
Let's
start at...
Okay, so what you're doing is you're going to the Hangouts page and then clicking on View More.
Well, that doesn't make sense anymore because the April 11th, which is today.
Right. I don't think all of those are actually live.
No, I agree.
I mean, maybe they are, but I don't think so.
No, if you look at the Hangout now, there are only limited ones. If you look at only for today.
I have 22 live right now when I just counted it up, starting from today at 6:36.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Where are you looking though?
I went to the Hangout page, View More, and then I
try clicking on one.
Yeah, a lot of them are dead, and yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get an error message for most of them.
Yeah,
except
that's
for
right.
the top couple.
Yeah, the lower ones are all dead.
They linger. Yeah, they linger.
Yes.
The thing like on your page, if you like when I posted like the Hangout that actually worked until it didn't work. It replaced the player on my page with the posted video automatically, but with the older ones down at the bottom, it doesn't replace the live player with the recorded version on the plus.google.com/hangouts thing. So it's still slightly flaky. Two more comments here real quick. Are Archer
here-
asked if we'd seen the Betty White space, and it's hilarious. Yes,
That was funny.
that's great. The bacon and the cat are
One
the
of the
best.
many absolutely hysterical ones.
And then Archer says, asks a great question. Did anyone actually ever use the YouTube tab? And I think I halfway tested it once, but I didn't see a relevant. I mean,
Well, the answer is probably not, and Google knows exactly how many people click on exactly where on the screen, so they might actually have done something smart and removed it.
Yeah.
I know that seems strange, but
No, it was totally useless.
It's in the apps now, right?
well,
no,
if you want to watch, I mean, they got a YouTube button at the very top of Chrome, right? So you can switch over to YouTube if you want to look for something on YouTube. And
No,
the interface on YouTube is vastly superior than anything that little tab could have done.
Yeah, Ermine, and I apologize if I'm mutilating your name again.
That's perfect.
This was the on the old stream, all the way on the right. There was a little tab that said YouTube, and it was basically you click on it and it pops out and it lets you play YouTube videos from there. You couldn't share them. You couldn't do anything with them. It was just a YouTube viewer built into Plus for yourself. So the idea was you never have to leave your Plus stream. You can do you never have to leave Plus. You can do everything from this screen. And well, we see how well that worked out.
Well, no, I think where it could have been interesting is now what they've done with Hangouts is that they've pushed these live Hangouts. So if you have an on-air live, it pushes through YouTube now. And if they still had that button, theoretically, you could program all your favorite shows, and they could always be running in the background in that one location.
Yeah, but you could have always sort of done that on a separate tab with YouTube.
This is true, too.
And
I
since
agree.
Hangouts show up in a different tab than your stream, it ends up being in a different tab anyway, so...
Dan, it shows up to me like the Hangout you started at 9:25 is the oldest Hangout on air right now.
Whose?
This one.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. Go to the Hangouts page, and you can see this one, which was started at 9. Oh, wait a second. It says 9:25 edited. Did it change anything?
Yeah, as people join, it gets edited.
Okay, so this is the oldest
So you
Hangout.
bounce back up.
Yes. What I'm saying is, if you go down from there and try to click on one of the Hangouts on air before that, it doesn't work. So this is the first one, or the oldest one, whichever way you look at it.
Okay, I just started a new one. Could you guys see it? Did it come up?
Hold on, 1 second.
I
Harold?
started one on Mac.
Who, Harold?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it, Harold.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep, there you are.
We're in 7th place now.
Yeah.
So I wonder, but we're still on the top of the fold, right? That's all that matters.
Fair. Does anyone know how to get rid of the advertising up on the top? The huge...
Oh, I know. That's what we were
Stuff?
laughing. We were calling that the real white space. Sorry.
Which one?
The stuff on the top of that page, like the 3 banners that keep rotating. Video chat with the whole family. Make conversation or something like that. You know, I already know it's probably fine for new users, but after about 30 seconds it gets tiring.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Which page are you?
Right, like, I mean, if you go into the Hangouts tab, you probably...
Oh, you mean to say okay, try now, that thing.
That
If you
Hangout
go to
page
the
crashes
Hangouts-
a lot in Chrome.
Yeah, got it. I don't think so. I don't think you can get rid of that.
Mohammed could make an app to get rid of that.
That's
Woulda, coulda,
hilarious.
shoulda.
You want anything fixed? There's a Mohammed for that.
He's
And he's
mad.
no longer here.
Stop picking on poor Muhammad.
He'll come back.
There's a NASCAR one and a TWIP one, or TWIP.
Hangouts are just...
Can I tell you what my real challenge is with this new layout? It's really apparent to me, as many of I've seen tonight, that this is going to take off. And then there's going to be 100 or 200 or 5,000 Hangouts. I just want to know what it's going to do when it gets to a level that's far exceeds what we see here.
Is it going to scale? And that's a
Well, the bandwidth, wouldn't it kill the bandwidth, all that stuff going on?
Forget the
Oh
bandwidth.
gosh, they own the bandwidth. They are.
No, if that's what it does, if every time someone joins a Hangout, it bumps it back up to the top, then you would almost get like the old, remember the old instant feed on Google? You could just kind of monitor that, and that would in itself be entertainment, as you can monitor it and look and see, okay, this one's about sports, this one's about cooking, this one's about knitting, this is, whatever, and then, oh, that's interesting, and then you have to keep scrolling down to follow it as new stuff gets added on top, and then you click on it and watch it. So that's kind of democracy in action.
Well, I'll take off. My wife wants me to come up and watch the taped American Idol with her, so I'll see.
Have fun. Is there a way? Is there a way of seeing the ones that are live versus the ones that are not? That'd be interesting. And for some reason, I can't tell what's public and private anymore.
If you're on the Hangouts page, without clicking on the View More,
right?
There's the section that says Hangouts to Watch.
Hangouts to Watch. Okay.
Hangouts to Watch or Hangouts on Air. If you click on Watch, it goes to, it used to go to YouTube, it goes to a separate page. Hangouts to join are just public, or Hangouts with public invitations.
The question about the bandwidth thing, how is it actually going to affect Google's bandwidth? I think it's mostly about Google's processing power. It's your bandwidth, right? I mean...
No, because we're not talking to each other. We're all talking to a central server at Google.
Yeah.
But given how much YouTube video they stream every second, I'm not too worried about their bandwidth.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a serious question. So now that race on it. Oh, sorry. How do I chat with the people in the Hangout now?
It looks like there's some glitches, but when we were testing it earlier today, it looked like all of the chats were taking place on the single YouTube.
That's would be ideal. I just don't see it when I click watch. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It's not there now, but they were having some serious bugs about 2 hours ago. So it sounds like that might have been one of the consequences of them fixing the bug. It'll return.
And we are hoping that eventually the chat we have here is kind of working together with the chat we have on the YouTube video.
It was crazy. It was way better, and I think everyone is going to, for all the on-air Hangouts, I think you're going to see everyone clicking to the YouTube to watch it because the chat is vastly superior. It's real-time, and there's many more people there. We were getting a comment, Alan and Sarik, about we did a 90-minute thing today, and we had 85 viewers, or 90 at peak.
Good.
And it was
180.
185 comments during that 90 minutes. I had when I started, I had 19 subscribers, and 90 minutes later, I had 33. On this channel, I didn't even have an avatar on or a profile name or anything. It was just some random thing. But 33 subscribers is not huge at all. But it was just shocking that it was a 74% increase in 90 minutes, and 185 comments because people were clicking on the bottom of the player where it says the YouTube, and you could click and say watch on YouTube. They were going there, and they were loving that instant chat. And the chats, I swear to God, it was like 6 seconds ago, 8 seconds ago, 8 seconds ago, 12 seconds ago, and you couldn't keep up. And then all of those chat live comments during the live feed, when the recording is posted after the live is ended, all of those 185 live comments become the 185 comments under the recorded video permanently. So Google Plus is clearly going to realize, as they watch the analytics and watch people preferring to watch these things that we're doing now. Of course, it's not working now because they've reverted back, which is totally cool while they fix the bugs. But when they notice everyone leaving in droves to go watch it on YouTube.com and take advantage of that better chat that's integrated or whatever, I think they're going to realize that they have an issue and finally address it, despite the fact that we've been, but maybe they're already addressing it already.
I think this is the solve for it, because my whole thing is it's never been about Google Plus. It's always been about the entire Google. And so this is their solve, to say go into YouTube. We're okay with that because you're staying within one of our properties.
Right. This is why when they say they've got 170 million users,
yes,
they're counting YouTube users.
Yeah, I agree.
Boy, George has an interesting comment. Sariq, look at George's comment. Has this Hangout YouTube thing taken the wind out of the sails of the billion-dollar Instagram purchase or what? That's really interesting. I wonder if they rushed it a week or so early to get the Instagram thing off the front page.
I doubt it.
That's
I don't think
smart.
they really care.
That's a smart thing, though.
Well, one's
the kind of
to the choir, the other one's, you know, big news.
The kind of attention we pay to Facebook because this is new, people there, they don't really, as of now. You know what I'm saying? If they did, there will be a lot of people here, joining all the time. But this is an independent community.
But it's what's going to happen now like crazy because people on Facebook use YouTube significantly, and if they can have conversation, I mean, it's game over.
That's
in a lot of respect. They're going to finally see the value of Google+.
Going back to what you...
Right back. David Bennett's hanging out. Let me see if I can get some answers from him.
Sure. Going back to what Dan and Hermine said, think about, Hermine said that, you know, you're going to have all these comments live happening on when you are playing it live on YouTube, broadcasting it live on YouTube. Think about that is where the actual interaction thing comes in, and that's where Hangouts are going to take off. It's not just about the functionality of being able to just post it, but I'm watching a video live on YouTube, and if I can communicate with Dan,
you're not going to watch TV anymore. I mean, this just changed reality programming forever.
The next step is in the YouTube comments. If I can actually plus mention anybody who is watching or in the Hangout and get a notification. You know, that is the kind of interaction I'm talking about with YouTube.
The next interaction is plus purchase.
What's that?
Which is basically if there's something that's shown, there's something that's said, and I can click on a link and buy it.
Well, that is where when the commercialization or the monetizing of it comes in.
Yeah,
but the time being, let's say Jeff is talking about something and somebody in the chat wants to get Jeff's attention. If you can plus mention it and Jeff sees a notification, you know, that is the kind of interaction. That is what is going to take Hangout way up there.
But that's very similar to Justin TV, live stream, and all those other, broadcasting CDNs. But what's the good thing about this, I think the reason why Dan's went up, why we were doing that show was a lot of people didn't know about the Google extensions, right? They didn't have My Hangouts or Canopy. All of a sudden there's a button that says Hangouts, and now they click on that and they see something that has to talk about this new format.
Yeah.
Boom, they jumped right in. Right?
Brilliant. It was brilliant to have Hangouts their own page.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think it's just reaching more and more people on an instinctual level versus, having to know all these little tricks to, call it all together. Now they're doing that for you in one integrated, interface. That's what's going on.
But I think it's smart how they timed it. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, strategically, they realized that Hangouts may have been a nice-to-have feature when they first went live, but now they realize that Hangouts is probably the one which is really, advantageous to them, and that's why they're pushing it in a separate page. That's what I think. You're going to see more stuff like this. They're going to spend a lot more time on improving Hangouts integration with the rest of the stuff. That's what I feel.
I just think I don't know that we're giving them enough credit. I actually think Google realized this all along.
Oh, I do give them credit.
Well, no, that's fair. You do. That's when I was saying we. I was thinking more of the broader sense. But I actually it reinforces to me that they do know what is going on.
Well, what I think is they actually caught lightning in a bottle. They just basically said, okay, wow, look what we have. We don't really know what this is, but I'm glad we have it in our hands. And now let's go with it, and boom, it's creating automatic content for YouTube, which is a huge profit center for them. It's doing all the things they want it to do. It's all just kind of coming together. I think it's excellent.
So
I'm glad we're part of it.
The biggest aspect of is what Alan said. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. The future is all about video. People are going to send emails to each other, not just text-based. Probably your grandmother can just record a simple video and send it to you, and you come in, you probably access your TV and see it. Google is right in pursuing the video approach, and they have been successful with YouTube immensely, perhaps more successful than anybody else. So hooking onto video as the primary medium of communication within a social network platform is the way to go. And everybody has great bandwidth in this country. For that matter, where serious people are using this. I'm saying
that's why they put the that family button on, because people just click on that and see, oh, this is my family. Oh, look, so and so is in a Hangout, or someone started. Boom. It's all.
Exactly. Yeah. What I can't wait for is to be able to do Hangouts on my TV in the living room. I put it up there. I should be able to do Hangouts with the family, a wide-angle webcam. That's it. It's cool, and with Google TV.
Oh, webcam. Yes, I was going to say, what's the recording device?
Well, everyone's going to have their own station. Everyone's going to be their own TV station. Really.
Exactly. And I know Motorola Mobility has the technology.
Yeah.
They got
the patents and stuff. So what the heck?
Yeah, somebody had an article today saying that Google's $12 billion toy purchase.
Well, Samsung's already putting webcams on their TVs.
Yeah.
Some of the new Samsung TVs are probably coming out with Google TV inbuilt.
So it's fascinating for me because it was always the reason that I could never watch YouTube. I have a 15-year-old daughter who does. And I am not going to sift through the rigmarole and the stuff that's out there that's just really not to a quality that I appreciate. But when I start to see what people are creating here and the shows that they are and the ones that are taking it up a notch every single time, I'm just really excited.
Well, I mean, it's just like TV. There's crap on TV, and then there's really good stuff, and there's not necessarily a ton of really good stuff. But if you can find it, and obviously, there's so much content on YouTube that there's going to be even more compared to a TV, even more good content. But at the same time, there's going to be massive amounts of much more crap. So you got to sift through it. But if you can sift through it,
right,
you can find
and that's
tons and tons.
Anthony, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Emma.
No, I'm sorry about that. I'm wondering, as a user, we kind of know we're ahead of the game, at least on some level, knowing what's good content and what's otherwise in some of the Hangout things that we've seen. And as I've been creating my channel over there on YouTube and subscribing to and friending and following, and I think there may be a strength in cultivating a really good aggregated list of content over on YouTube as well.
But that's what Peter's doing, right? A little bit. Peter McDermott doing that.
That's because I told Peter to do that.
I was saying, okay. Well, I didn't know you told him. I'm sorry, I wasn't privy to that conversation. But people are doing that, and what I like about this stuff is like the things that are happening with the cooking. Like say a cooking show. How would you like to be part of? Can ask a question in real time when they're cooking something. Why did you do that? Or what's going on? Or everyone can buy the same stuff and cook it online and have questions as they go. Things like that are beginning to happen. So
here is a question to all of you. Since we still have that 3-minute a month problem as well as the ghost town issue, let me ask you this. If you say average 7 hours is what a person spends on Facebook a month, what is the actual number of hours somebody spends on YouTube in a month? For me, it is way more than 7 hours a month.
Actually, it's less than that for me. I don't use YouTube at all.
On an average, I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's interesting about the.
And think about the fact that Paramount is now having a deal with them to stream movies. So when you start looking at Google Plus as an integration of all these things, and YouTube becomes a part of an integral part of Google Plus, how is that arithmetic going to look like? If you're going to calculate the time people spend on YouTube as also as a part of Google Plus, how is everything going to look like?
But I don't think they care. They don't care about it.
They don't. I agree.
They don't. They're going to look at their ad revenue and go, "Oh, YouTube ad revenue, views off the chart." They're going to look at this and say, "Oh, it's all about the revenue." They don't. Anyone can just talk about the analytics. They're dead. They are about ad revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's
interesting about that 3-minute, argument that, people spend 3 minutes on YouTube on average. Well, you know what? There's me, there's Dan, there's Jeff, and there's Alan, and there's Sarik. All of those people spend at least 2 hours a week on Google Plus. And how do I know this? Because Google Plus week is on average more than 2 hours. You throw in, any other guests, and you throw in any other, hangouts that Dan is doing that we're all involved in, and we're just talking about a group right now that's spending, on the absolute low end, 2 hours a week on YouTube, and on the high end, just through stuff that Dan is doing, 8-10 hours, and then you throw in whatever we are doing individually. That's not 3 minutes. That's on the absolute low end, you got 10, 12, 15 hours.
I don't know that that's necessarily fair, because I think we like to look at what it is that we're doing and pretend that the rest of the world is doing it. There's 170 million people who have been promoted to a Google ID or Google Plus in this platform. I got to say, we're power users. We are on those outer tails of it. And so when we look at what the majority of people are doing, unfortunately, I think I was looking, if you have more than 2,000 followers, you are in the top 1% of users here.
Hey, listen, I want to go to Michael and then Eric, because he just joined us, and they're both, Eric's feverishly typing, and he's always interesting. But I want to, what's the real number? What's the real number? We hear 100 million, we hear 3 minutes, all this crap. They're all BS numbers. I see the same core group posting everywhere. I see the same core group in Hangouts. Partly that's dictated by who I follow, right? But what do you think the real number of people who actually spend, a half an hour or more a day doing things on Google Plus publicly? Any wild estimate on that? Because that's a whole lot less than 170 million, which is the reason there's only 6 Hangouts listed on the worldwide click on Hangouts on your main profile thing, and we're one of 6, right? And we were one of 1 or 2 earlier, the first one we did today. So what's the deal with that? Michael, what do you think? What's the real number?
I couldn't even begin to guess what the number is, but I've been saying for a long time that my friends aren't here, my family isn't here, and I'm okay with that because I still find interesting, engaging people to interact with. But eventually you do get sort of tired of never seeing anyone you know. So I don't
Until you meet new people, like all of us in this whole room here are in different countries and states, and none of us have met anybody. I just met you, right?
Yes.
So we've now met, we each met another engaging, interesting person. So that's what Google Plus's strength is. It's a great way to discover new people.
It's not.
Several of you are in my circles, but we haven't had any direct engagement like in a Hangout before, except maybe Hermine and I have, I think.
Yeah, but that's the thing. None of us have met in real life.
Yeah.
But what are your quick thoughts, Michael, on Google Plus, 12.0 or whatever this is?
Well, I only just signed in just tonight and saw this and clicked on the Hangouts page and saw you guys started watching the Hangouts live. And for the life of me, I could not figure out how I would be invited into it, except I posted that comment and then you invited me. Is that how it really works? I mean, is that how it always works on a Hangout that's live?
No.
You have to, with a live Hangout, I cannot invite public. So I invited circles and extended circles. With a regular Hangout, I can invite public.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that was, for whatever reason, Google's done that. But they said it was totally cool to post the link in a comment. Chichu, who's in charge of this, he said the key thing is don't do illegal stuff. Don't be playing records that are copyrighted or what have you,
Well, people are supposed to be vetted to a degree, right?
Yeah, the idea is at this stage, I'm responsible. If suddenly someone came in here and started doing, getting naked or, whatever, then I would be responsible for that because it's my broadcast per se, unlike a regular Hangout, which no one owns. You can start a regular Hangout and then leave, and the other people can continue on and invite other people, and it goes on for weeks. So it's a different animal. It's more like a show that someone has to be responsible for the content because it's broadcasting live, and I don't know how all that works. I mean, it's legal issues, I guess. But he said it's cool if we post the link, so I did. After your comment, I posted the link so anybody watching this can join. Look in the comments and you'll see it. Just behave yourself. So Eric, did you have any thoughts? Perhaps.
At some point, I want to be at a lot of people's family reunions because I have heard so many people trashing friends and family from Facebook. Maybe you don't mean to do it intentionally, but at some point that gets repeated so much, I'm like, this is like the world's biggest search engine, and that stuff's probably not going to stay quiet. Like, they could probably trash you easier over there than you trashing them over there. I'm not just picking on you, Michael, but do you know how many times I've actually heard that? Well, it's just my friends and family, and screw them. It's like, oh boy, your Thanksgiving's going to suck. That's it.
Never put anything in a post or an email or anything that you wouldn't want to read in the front page of tomorrow's newspaper.
That's exactly right.
But at the same time, people are okay with saying outlandish stuff and putting it in the newspaper because that means revenue and traffic. Remember, it's the year 2012.
I love outlandish stuff in the newspaper.
Because then you can be like, I misspoke.
No, because then we get more newspapers and we sell more ads. So.
Yeah, take a clue from politicians. Just do what they do. You'll be fine. As far as guessing the number of people, I mean, I have no way to quantify it, but I think that we really need to make a distinction between video and text. Video requires a certain je ne sais quoi that is binding. The people going to meet people here are going to be together for a lot longer, long time to come.
So the interaction time frame is much longer once you join a Hangout than it is if you're just on a typing chat back and forth with commentary.
And I truly think that putting Hangouts in that main menu is to help boost the numbers. I mean, anybody that's ever developed a web app that, time on site, you find the ways to keep people on a site because that's money. So if they can pull time spent in Hangouts, that's going to bump the number up, even though it's kind of shifty, right? It's like when they said 170 million people have upgraded to it. I had to take a minute and think, what is that? And talk to Armin about it. Upgrade, wait a minute. So now they're framing it in a sense of, oh, you didn't have the full thing. People have upgraded, right? I mean,
it's a PR scam, clearly.
This comes from working in advertising and marketing. You never admit your fault, and you always put forth the best thing, and, you play around with the numbers.
Well, it is a bit
170
frustrating,
million people is great, but are they using it?
Right. It's frustrating because they keep talking about the numbers going up, 170 million people, and I don't know anyone that's on it. And I know a lot of people, but I still don't know anyone who's voluntarily signed up and is actively using it. I use it, but...
It's like, how many Gmail accounts do people have?
Yeah.
When people find out that people have a lot, they get shocked. Like, really?
I think I'm the only person in Warren County that posts regularly. I mean, on a regular basis, and there's like 40,000 people in this county. And I would know because I own the biggest newspaper here, and I know everybody. And I would know if they would have reached out to me the way that Bruce Turner did, with my Lynchburg paper. He's in Lynchburg, right? I would know. And there's no one who regularly posts. It's a lot like Twitter where people consume, but they don't post as much. Most people on Twitter post occasionally, but consume a lot. They sign up and they follow interesting people or news sites or whatever. So I think we're seeing just the same thing. But it's just like anything. In most cases, it's wallpaper. Most people, a radio call-in show. How many people attempt to call Rush Limbaugh versus how many people are listening? It's 2%? A dramatic difference. Not even 2%. I bet less than 1%.
I thought talk radio call-in participation was around 2%.
Okay, let's say it's that, right? So that means 98% of the people are simply consumers of content. Because most people don't want to go on television or a Hangout, especially a Hangout on air. It's unnerving to them. They're just like, you know, oh, I don't want to do that. You know, my hair's messed up. Or, you know what I mean? Most people aren't interested in that. Most people aren't the type A public figures. They don't care what any. You know, we just want to.
I think there's a gender split there too, by the way.
Tell that to Oprah. I don't know.
I mean, I wonder if women are a little bit more particular.
I don't know. I think.
But,
I mean,
you know, kind of
perhaps.
a gender stereotype and a little anecdotal, but it's something to consider.
Well, let's ask the.
Well, of course, women are.
Let's ask one of the two females here.
How many kinds of genes do guys have? How many kinds of
difference?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Do you think there's a gender difference in the reluctance for folks to join a Hangout?
Absolutely. Look, I mean, it's 2/3 we can see is male to female on the site in general, and one of the strengths of the site is Hangouts. It is a bit unnerving to go into a room full of a bunch of men that you don't know. It just doesn't seem one of those things that us girls were taught to do is wise.
Yeah, just like in real life.
Yeah, right.
You know what? Everyone, and you know, for the longest time we've been talking about how long it would take, you know, Google Plus to catch up to Facebook, right? And you know, presumably, you know, overtake them and become, you know, people they did with MySpace to Facebook. You know, people go to Facebook to Google Plus. But why does it have to be like that? Like, you know, can Facebook and Google Plus, you know, exist, you know, together? Can, you know, people that want to use a social network want to use both Facebook and Google Plus? Because, you know, Facebook's doing what they're doing, like, you know, it's just like all this, like,
it's a nice,
I mean, I don't want to be condescending, but they're doing all this babbling, whereas on Google Plus, the, you know, conversations are, you know, deeper, and plus, in addition to being deeper conversations, you have all this video going on in the Hangouts. So, you know, you have Facebook doing what they're doing, and maybe Google Plus does, you know, video stuff.
I think it's nice in theory, but I think the reality is that people just don't have enough time to spread themselves to all of these sites. So it's not so much that one is going to win and one is going to lose. It's more like people are going to gravitate around one or the other, and that's just how it's going to be.
I have to say, Ellen, that cat was looking up at the word interesting in your caption, and I was freaked out by that. But anyway, we have to be really careful because you start getting into class warfare when you do that. The people on Facebook are posting babble, and they're smarter over here. Right. I was just about to say, I think Google and Facebook could coexist if the Google people could get more diluted so we could smother the fanboys a bit and get them to shut up. Because there's no fanboys over on Facebook. They just exist at the shopping mall. But to dare say that people are posting babble, who are you to judge? And it's only going to be a matter of time before there's 700 million people over here posting the same
babble.
crap.
Right. I mean,
It started.
And there's already a lot of cruft around here, and there always has been.
But I mean, I can tell you that I send
stuff everywhere, and it doesn't get traction like the stupid stuff. I test that time and time again here. I go out of my way to test it and post like, this is an interesting thing, this is an interesting thing, better throw in a bacon post too, because I know what I'm doing. I come from an industry of manipulation. My job is to get inside the head of a mass market and to make people do things.
How many bacon posts have you done?
And same thing here.
It was actually cat pictures are the ones that I remember the most of it.
No, and this is where I respectfully disagree, Eric, in some respects, because I do know that you're doing the same thing in measuring, but we've shared the similar posts, and there's different interaction that happens with both our followers, right, or our constituency, or whatever it is that you want to call it. That's all I have to say about that.
Hey, did you see, real quick aside, and then like random chat, did you see that post from PBS or NPR? I think it was PBS, where they had cat pictures, and they said they're not new, and they had a silly cat picture, like two cats in silly costumes, and it was from 1870.
I didn't see that.
So like, you can't blame the internet. You can't blame Al Gore for this one.
Right.
We've always done stupid cat pictures.
There are 700 million users for FB and Google+. If both of them have that, I will find no difference in what people post. it'll be exactly the same. However good the tool is, however efficient the tool is, doesn't matter. When there is a lot of people in there, that kind of numbers. I still look at Facebook and I see a lot of comments or a lot of posts which are very similar to what I have in Google Plus. Of course, if I am circling only people whom I like, who post what I like, then it's different. But there is no difference. I don't think it's going to be anything exquisite. Or what did you say? Mensa? No.
Well, was it such an A-list? Was it such an intellectual group initially? Because it was all like initially the alpha stage was friends of Google, and then the beta stage was like
that is an initial tech adaptation.
And then when the Facebook people came on, were they dismissed in a way? I mean, were they not welcomed as much, and they were turned off, or what?
We've done that back since the AOL days, right? I actually say heh, H-E-H, instead of lol a lot, because back in the early days when AOL got connected to the internet, you could smell those people a mile away because they said LOL. And it was like, ew, get those nasty AOL people away from us. When Netscape...
Army of losers.
Yes, when AOL bought Netscape, oh my God, you thought the internet was imploding. Because how dare AOL and those people, right? Also, we invaded Facebook. Facebook was for college kids, and you couldn't get on it unless you had an EDU. And then the Facebookers were like, ew, all these like weird adults showing up. Twitter, same thing. Twitter went a little racial. Nobody really wants to talk about it, but Twitter was exclusively tech. It blew up South by Southwest 2007. This trend happens all over the place. And to top it off, Google is an American company, and a lot of the power users in Silicon Valley are American, so our really weird, quirky values are getting shoved down the throats of everyone.
Hey, three quick comments, and then I'm going to shut up for a little bit and let you guys have at it. From William Bryan, it's also a factor of public versus private. I think many of you there are assuming that everyone wants to be seen or be public. Archer.
Thank you.
Archer says bacon posts have totally jumped the shark, getting beyond absurd. And Owl Jones, this is great. What is your email, headphones dude? I will send you a cat pic, LOL. That's awesome.
Bacon is basically the new, remember glow-in-the-dark stars or velvet paintings that you painted on, or devil stuff? It's just the trend of the day. It will go away and some other silly thing will take its thing. But yeah, I'm getting kind of tired of bacon. We need upgrades.
You see, but like I don't think it's that one network is superior to another or whatever. I think if you take 1 million users that are on both networks and use approximately the same amount, it's not that they're less intelligent or whatnot. It's just because one network wants to see one type of content and another network wants to see another kind of content. Facebook wants to see, Cookie, what are you doing today? And Google Plus wants to see, news and tech discussions. Like I'm not bashing anyone.
But Anthony,
I use Facebook as much as probably more than anyone else in this in this Hangout. So I'm not bashing Facebook.
But when
I'm just saying it's a different place.
But when you're approaching 1 trillion users, a cross-section of 1 million users from either the products are going to look exactly the same.
So guys, I know that we've been talking about numbers for a while, but let me just tell you the data that we ran through the other day. And it's obviously going to be out of date because we were using, just a week and a half ago, Robert Anderson and I looked at 130 million people who had some sort of passport or ID to go to Google+. We know that Circle Count had about 18 million profiles indexed. We also know, based on that, how many followers, a whole slew of things. We're able to assess, and this was our best guess, there's probably about 5.2 million users who have above 1,000 followers and who are somehow checking in 2 or 3 times a week or more. We know that some of us live here, and we know that others haven't checked in since July. With that, we also know that 30% of the people who are, just the geographic studies that are up there, about 31% are from the United States. So if we look at that and we say 1.5 million users probably are checking in here 2 or 3 times-ish or more per week. Is that growing? Absolutely, and I think that'll be the steady growth. But when we look at average usage characteristics, I think it will be as consistent as Twitter and Facebook and some of those other products that preceded, just from a usage standpoint. But it was a huge ramp up in how many people got on it that quickly.
Man,
So
that's great analytics.
Sorry.
That's great analytics, for real. I think that's a good number, 1.5 million.
I think it's about right.
For the regulars, who like really get on it. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this, Joshua? You want to weigh in?
Well, I don't know. I think that I consider myself a pretty heavy user in that I check several times a day, and I do a lot of posting, but almost none of my posting is public. My whole family is on, and we do a lot of communicating using Google+, but looking at all of my family's posts, almost none of it is public.
Tell us the rationale for that. Go into that in depth, because that's something we've wrestled with for quite some time, trying to figure out why so many folks, because then you're out of all the analytics. Then you're part of that 3 minutes, right? Really, it's misleading because you are posting, but it's not public. So go into detail about your reasons for that. Why'd you join a public on-air hangout, for example? If you know what I mean, it's intriguing to me.
Actually, this is just now. This is thanks to the new layout here, because I hit the Hangout button and you were right up there. And I think I follow you to begin with. I've seen a few shows in the past. I don't know. My family and we have a pretty twisted sense of humor, and I think a lot of it is stuff that you wouldn't really share with public. It's not anything you would want to really share with people you work with, or people you might be trying to get a job from later, or all that stuff stays online forever. So I don't know. I guess I think we all. I do make some public posts, but I think the things that I might publicly post, I just think a lot more carefully about. And I think a lot of people are like that.
That's really interesting, because like you immediately, when I called on you, right? You hadn't said anything yet. You immediately chimed in, and you're very interesting to me, as is Michael. And neither one of you have ever joined one of our Hangouts before. So we've been trying to figure this out. Why folks are privately posting so much. They don't want to be public, but then they'll go in a Hangout that's live. It's a paradox almost, because you clearly have something to say, right? Michael, go ahead.
I post a lot of things publicly, but only to people that are in my interest circle. So I have a food lover circle, and I post frequently to that. But I don't post that to everyone in the world, because who cares what I cook for dinner except people that are interested in what I cook for dinner.
Yeah, and I'll say I'm similar in that way. Not everything I post goes to my family, but I have like a large circle that they might all be, say, like Tom Waits fans, or I might have a large circle of people that play a specific video game, or I might have, and these circles might have 1,000 people in them. But when I post about that topic, I'm posting to people that I think might be interested in that topic. It doesn't really make sense for me to just vomit out everything I'm thinking to everybody in the world.
So you view it more like an email list, like you have members of your friends or family who are interested in sports or politics or what have you, and when you have an interesting thought or a story you saw on the internet somewhere, you might share it just to those, because your brother-in-law is interested in politics, but your mom is not. But when you have a great recipe, you'll send it to your mom, and vice versa.
That's a good example. If I'm talking about a video game, or let's say like I fix laser printers for a living, and I have a circle of people who do that. It doesn't make sense for my mother to read posts about that, because I'm going to say something about a part on a HP 4600, and my mother's not going to know what that is.
You're going to waste her time, and she's not going to want to read your emails. So
she's going to end up reading a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense to her, and then she'll stop logging in. Because
but how do you expect people to discover you? This is the paradox.
Exactly. Go ahead, Eric, because you're on it now.
They constantly hype the discovery of people. This is where you meet people you don't know. This is where you find things that you don't. Well, if it's all locked up in circles, we can't find it. And guess what? Then it forces a ghost town. are we building Facebook 2.0 as users because we're keeping it private, reducing discovery, or I mean, it's like everything is a force working against itself.
One of the things that we keep asking them for, and I think it's very, very slowly sinking in, is that public and to a circle are not necessarily orthogonal. They're not necessarily different things. There are times that we're posting to a circle not because we don't want not because it's not a public post, but because we know our aunt isn't going to be interested in this fact. So it's slowly beginning to sink into them that we need a way to be able to say, yes, I'm sending this to my circles, but you can index it. You can
Right.
make links to it. You can tell the world about it. I'm just not telling people, not because it's private, but because
Right, that's a good point.
But because I know there are people that aren't interested.
Right.
They got on my case about this and said that would be, there's some sort of way of gaming the system, something in the search results, this, that, and the other for the reason that they don't want to do that. And I kept trying to explain to them segmentation and how markets work and the value of being able to do that, and I'm blue in the face.
It is a discovery engine because, as I've said a million times, there are people in this Hangout right now, Alan, Anthony, Eric, George, now Hermine, the newest, but all you guys, I consider good friends. And there are like today, this Hangout now was basically I was bored, and I'm a Google Plus addict. That's a whole new line of defense for for criminals being charged for things. I guess you could say you're a Google Plus addict. But it's like I want to hang out with my friends, and so I start a Hangout, and I basically know who's going to come in, and I get to talk about interesting things with people who share the same interests, and I look forward to it. I was like, I'm lonely, I'm bored, or whatever, and I want to hang out with my friends, and all of us have discovered ourselves here. We never would have discovered each other otherwise. And we share the same interests.
Huge point.
We don't share the same interests, though, Dan. I mean,
to a degree we do.
No, not at all, Dan. I'm not interested in coding or tech stuff or even marketing. I don't have any interests like that. I'm into biotech and science and funny.
The only interest we seem to share, Dan, is that we're interested in Google Plus, which is fine, but that's
an interest.
Yeah, but otherwise we're very, very random, scattered types of people.
The other thing is that what Sreef just mentioned is that if it's not public, it's not indexed by Google.
Actually, I think I said that, but
is that true?
Well, no, it's not true. It is indexed by them, but it's
not publicly.
Not publicly.
So that content's lost. I really wish Path would be a real social network because there's no public viewing and there's no linking. And that forces people to do stuff that's real and not show off, because social networking is very much like dating. Give me a break with your funny profile pictures and all the bio crap that you write, because that ain't you. I'd rather know who you are by behavior and what your actions are.
Oh my God, I just thought of $1 million idea, Eric, and tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Google...
Shouldn't say it.
What if Google hired Betty White to do a funny TV commercial just for the internet, because it would be too inside for non-Google Plus users to use it, but to do a TV commercial for the web about the white space issue, and actually had her like volunteering in the same way that Michael Jackson was in the second Men in Black movie. That would be hysterical.
I'm not terribly confident in their ability to nail culture because of how weird their marketing is, normal, playing it straight. I don't want my creepy Uncle Google to try and be funny because they're trying to be hip, and it's kind of weirding me out.
But they can get a good ad agency.
And for God's sakes, I'm 40 complaining about Google not being hip. There's a problem here. Old guys like us should not be complaining about
what if you had Barry White and Betty White and all these people like arguing, like remember that great SNL skit when
Barry White passed away.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say that, but I was...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to do that too, but I didn't want to... Dan was on a roll.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have.
You killed the mood there, Joshua. Joshua and Michael, welcome to our group. This is great. We've made 2 new friends today. This is awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Good to have you aboard.
Yeah, you'll get tired of us pretty quick.
I still maintain.
3, 2.
That's all we need.
I don't know. What are you going to do? Let me see. Do we have any more comments here? Let me see if we got any comments here. Okay. Oh, wow, we do. All right. Okay, William Bryan. I don't think they have the budget for that kind of advertising. I don't know. They could certainly get very white on the cheek.
That's funny.
I didn't say that. This is one of the drawbacks of speaking your mind. Stephen Locke, public posts on Twitter remain anonymous, whereas on Google Plus they will be linked to you. That's true if you have a fake profile, but that's a whole issue. Don't get Alan started on that. William Bryan, many of those on the Plus team have said that the metrics aren't seeing the substantial amount of limited circle posting people are doing. Maybe we don't want to be discovered. Archer says the reason I post privately is as a means of controlling my interaction. I'm not interested in highly populated circles. I'd rather have 50 that interact than 50 that are among 500 who don't.
I completely agree.
I want to skip back to the previous comment, though, about how...
Weigh in, guys.
About how there's all this activity going on privately, and that's why the metrics don't capture it. How is it they're able to capture the same metrics in Facebook, though? Because Facebook, previously, you only used to be able to share with your friends. It wasn't exactly a public thing. So
now you can subscribe to a person.
I still don't buy that.
I just did a test. We've had no ins or outs for a while, but I just saw a notification that someone +1 this, and then I went to Google Plus or plus.google.com/hangouts, and I see we're now bumped up to number 2. So I think it's anytime there's any interaction, they bump you up the stream. So I think they're getting ready to create sort of some mass Hangout stream once it goes live to everybody. That'll bump everything up, whatever is the new, has the newest interaction.
One concern, though, Google competing with their users by way of things like the Bravo Hangout Trivia Challenge or whatever. So when Google starts partnering with other content providers, they have content that they can now shove in above their users, creating that kind of producer-consumer, big media, small media model. And then people that are trying to do their thing get pushed down to the bottom while all the big boys play up here officially, adding the credibility and
That's going to be a real problem,
And the users will be even more resentful about it because again, like I said, I've seen this before with a different product. Users don't like being competed against. I mean, if you're going to turn it into like Yahoo, I guess, fine, whatever, original content, but... Your caption is confusing me, Alan. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, it should be really interesting to see how all of that goes down.
I'm about to crash.
Nokia.
Is it related to your computer or you?
The following plugin is unresponsive. Google Talk plugin. Would you like to stop it? I'll say no.
Give it a second. Give it a second.
That's what
Hey, yeah.
happened to me when I fell out of the Hangout before.
Come on, it's in beta.
Right.
It is. Oh, really?
Oh,
But I got to tell you, this is my favorite comment on somebody today. They're a little frustrated with Google Plus, and this guy lost some content that he put up there. So Jeffrey writes, there's no beta tag, so no excuses for broken features. And I'm like, really, dude?
In the old days of software
hang a
development.
beta tag on me because, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not perfect. You know, like, who says that? I don't.
I'm waiting for my kid to troll me with, hey, he does something dumb. He'll be like, I'm in beta still. Because it's like an excuse for bad behavior. Beta used to mean something before it was a cute marketing term. It meant it actually had a spot in product development, lifecycle, and release. Okay?
Thank you.
and that now it does not mean it. And terms change. Anybody that knows the history of the words hacker and cracker knows that, look, if somebody wants to take a word and change it and they got enough force behind it, they will do it and it will work. So beta kind of fell victim to that as well.
All right. Hey, listen, I'm totally crashing now. I've got all kinds of warning messages. I probably got a few seconds before it dies. For anyone listening or watching, I'll restart the Hangout in just a moment. Look for the invite, and I apologize on behalf of of the internet, the interweb tubes. Here we go.
You probably need to take a look at your hardware configuration on your computer, which one you're using for this.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean,
it's called Chrome.
It's the new. They're just, it's beta.
Oh.
Take a look at your CPU.
Let me look here.
110.
CPU usage is 9%, 13%, 12%.
How about real memory usage?
Physical memory is 25%.
Okay, it's Chrome.
So we've determined that we don't know what's wrong.
I'm waiting for Sarik's apology.
No. It's also because, it's using the Flash plugin.
Oh.
No, it's because there are issues. All right, I'm gonna. Should I reboot or just shut down and restart Chrome?
Just close Chrome and come back. It's fine.
All right. Sorry,
Restart
guys.
Chrome.
It's Chrome.
It's a Flash plugin within
It's probably
Chrome.